Well, good morning. Welcome to another wee vid. I thought I'd make this one because of a online interaction I had this morning. And this video is there's a lot of mosquitoes here actually. I might move. So, but this video is a kind of an online declaration for me. Like it's I mean, everything is a declaration. You're always declaring the certainty of your experience of yourself, whether that experience is from a point of having an illuminate understanding of the nature of life or not. So, from the illuminate experience that I've had, my declaration is always that you are whole and perfect, that I am whole and perfect, and that does not depend upon time. That's just the nature of the fact of the matter. We are spirit. God created us as whole and perfect as part of itself, and therefore we cannot be anything else because God is everything, and so what else could there possibly ever be? So in the formlessness of spirit. So, and the offering of salvation then to the mind that seems to believe in the reality of the physical nature of its experience in the journey of the soul, the offering of salvation is simply that one, you're doing this to yourself, and two, that this need not be. So one of the things, or probably the main thing, and I mean everything's the one thing when you're talking about salvation, it's all connected, everything sort of gels together as one understanding, which is standing under God in the order of one of a lesser order stands before its creator. And in that, it's like the rays of the sun are not the sun. They are the rays that come from the sun, but they're not separate. God. Busy little fellas, these mosquitoes this morning here. So I had this online thing this morning with somebody, this discussion with myself, this opportunity that I presented myself to remember that I'm whole and perfect, wherein the idea that I had to confront childhood trauma or past trauma or something was presented, and which obviously triggered my little internal thing. It's like the past is already gone and you can let it go, right? Which if you're doing the workbook lessons of A Course in Miracles, you know. So in my willingness to let go of the past and the future, but in my willingness to let go of the past, it's inherent in my willingness to let go of my falsity, the identity that I ascribe to this body and the serial adventures of the body that I call me. It's like there's a line in the sand that I'm drawing, and I say, right, here and now, I'm done. There's no need for me to look into the past and heal something that no longer exists. There's no need to me to, it's like here and now salvation is offered. Here and now is the immediacy and the totality of the solution to all my dramas, all my problems, all my absolutely everything, which is on offer. But because the addiction and the habituation is to constantly reference the past, I could simply say, well, here's salvation. And somebody out there somewhere just got that. But I can offer it to you. And you can say, well, yeah, let me look into my conceptual thoughts and decide what that is. Try and figure out what you just said, what you just offered, what you just represented. Right? As as insane as it sounds, you know. And I look at the idea of Jesus, who's like a brilliant reference, the only reference really that I have for these sorts of things. He said, "Give up the world and follow me." And then the merchants, "Well, let me just go and just sell my stuff. And too late, you know, the kingdom of heaven waits for no man." And that's literally what you're being presented. It's like, give up the world, let go of it. It's like, well, you know, no, I have to heal my trauma. It's already healed in the willingness to simply say yes. Can you hear that? It's already healed. It's already done. It's already accounted for, atoned for, taken care of in the resurrection, of which we are all a part. Jesus said we are all one. All men are equal. We are all one. Right? We're connected. We're not a me doing a path of salvation and a you doing a path of salvation. It's one mind accepting that salvation has already occurred in mind. And the willingness then to receive it. That's funny. It's so hard to talk about this stuff. It's so simple, you know, but we have this whole Course in Miracles with 365 lessons, workbook lessons, which is kind of spirituality for dummies. And, you know, it's funny. Salvation is a joke, you know. It's a trick. It's a like a spider's web. You get caught in it, you know, to see that you already are what you are trying to come to understand about yourself. I like one of the parts in the Course where it says in the blocks to love's awareness, or I forget what the actual title is. I'm not a titles person. But in the blocks, the 4 blocks, you know, the desire to get rid of peace, the belief that the body is valuable for what it offers, the fear of death, and the fear of love. Right? And then the last block is believing that there is one. Right? You can skip to the last block right here and now in the willingness, in the total willingness to accept salvation right here, right now. But you know, there's another line in the Course that says, for most a slowly evolving training program is required. And I don't know what to do with that. It's hilarious, you know. I'm constantly being presented with my own mind, with my own ideas reflected back at me that I've projected out into the world to look at, in a sense, as the denial of what's already been offered, the denial of what I've already accepted. And so I see something or read something or whatever, and there's a moment there, because the ego speaks first, there's a moment there where the temptation to want to believe in it and give it validity is, you know, the world seems just as real in its offerings as the truth is in its self. It's like the only thing that needs happen to awaken from a dream of death is to realize the truth, which is that call we have within us, that when we look out into the world, we see something wrong here. There's something not right. We just know it's not right. And we begin to question, and we feel this emptiness in here, this great emptiness. And one of my dear friends on this journey calls it the God hole. Hi, Josie. The God hole. It can only be filled by God. There's one piece of the puzzle missing in the human experience, which it's meant to be missing because that's what the experience is, right? But the replacement or the remembering of that one piece, which is buried in the mind beyond the illusion of time and space, is the one thing and the only thing that will make sense of everything. But if the mind is so unwilling to accept salvation or to accept what's being offered, here, have that one piece, put it where it belongs, then the arduous, tumultuous task of mind training and atonement must be undertaken. It's like I've said to Jesus, no, let me just go and sell my stuff in the marketplace and I'll join you. And Jesus said, the kingdom of heaven waits for no man. And it's like, damn, I missed my chance. Now I don't know where he's gone and I'm looking everywhere. And it's like, but here's this book, A Course in Miracles, which will tell me where he's gone, you know. And it really is a great arrogance to deny the immediacy of salvation. It's just... But it's not an arrogance that carries any guilt. It's just, you know, it's ingrained. It's like we deny our best interests. We deny love to ourselves at every tick of the clock and by every tick of the clock. We deny ourselves our own inner happiness, our own inner joy by our wish to examine it. I have a childhood trauma. I need to heal that before I can accept salvation. No, just accept salvation and all that will be healed. It's so simple. It's like all of these moments, all of these healings, all of these things are simply a presentation through the workbook of A Course in Miracles, wherein you can come to have a miraculous moment or a holy instant within yourself which will reveal the truth of you incrementally and accumulatively. You have a little tiny light experience moment, then another one and another one and another one, and they add up. They kind of add weight to the idea that there is an acceptance and an abiding, or an acceptance of what you truly are. And eventually the scales tip, you know, but the scales can just go like that right now. It's like climbing a mountain, right? I don't know. I'll put this a few ways if I can. It's like there's Mount Everest. My goal is to get to the top. I'm at the bottom at the moment. My goal is to get to the top of Mount Everest. Here's a book about mountain climbing, right? Oh, I have a book about mountain climbing, and I have Sir Edmund Hillary. G'day, Edmund, right? And a load of mosquitoes. I can either trust Edmund, and he says, I'll take you to the top. No worries. He's already done it. He knows how to get there. The way is already simple. All the ropes and thing, you know. Or there's this book. Oh, well, you know. Let me look at this book for a minute, which is going to teach me how. And then you learn to become a mountain climber. Learn to become a mountain climber until eventually you reach the top. Until eventually you put that piece back in there yourself rather than accept it from Edmund. You know? The whole goal is to stand on the top of the mountain and see the 360-degree view. You know, to see everything all at once. That's this. It's not about childhood trauma. That's just a distraction from, you know, Happiness is now. Happiness is here. And the mind will make up a million reasons, a million more, a million possibilities of potential things that could somehow restrict or somehow necessitate your involvement in them from the past, you know, to justify how you can come to be in this moment with me here and now. The learning of the abidance, the learning of the singular nature of self isn't a learning that proceeds like learning in the world, where you seem to accomplish something. It doesn't occur linearly. It occurs like this, vertically. I'm whole and perfect, and so are you, as spirit. In this world, this body, this identity, it's not what we are. It can't determine what we are. It has no factor governing what we are, and no ability to control our opportunity to experience what we are. And the mandate is simply be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. Put that one piece in here. But I'm on a path of healing. But I'm entitled to miracles. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. It's a big circle to bring you right back around to luckily no time is passing. A thousand excuses and 1,000 more, or 1,000,000, did I say? 1,000,000? Doesn't matter. Seemingly infinite. Let me just go and join a Course in Miracles study group. Boy, I wish I'd have just said yes to Sir Edmund Hillary and followed him up the mountain. I wish I'd have just said yes to Jesus in that one moment where he asked me to give up the world and follow him. There is not one moment that God is absent from your, it's right here and right now. But if you have to do 365 lessons to come all the way back around, so be it. I guess I'm just representing that there is a possibility, that there is the inevitability of an illuminate moment of the recognition of what you are as one with me, not these bodies, this mind. It's one mind waking up right here and right now. And I look into my mind and I like to ask myself the question sometimes, if Jesus walked past right now, but what about my kids? They'll be fine. If you could stand on the top of Mount Everest, and salvation is much more incredible than that. Top of Mount Everest is just like looking into a toilet bowl compared to salvation. But if you could stand on the top of Mount Everest right now and see everything all at once with Sir Edmund. But what about, but it says in this book, but this and that and the other. It's the greatest thing you will ever experience, direct union with God. It fills up this emptiness and makes sense of everything. There will be nothing. It's like the truth sets you free. I don't know if you can see all the mosquitoes on the on the video here, but they're thronging for salvation. They're everywhere. I love you. Do your lesson. Keep going. Just keep going. At some point, you're going to get so fed up with trying to work it out, you're just going to surrender. Peace.